Hello, this is Becky with the Kartra Education team. Today we're going to look at how to create a form in Kartra and then what to do with that form once you have it created. Forms are typically used for lead acquisition. Basically, they're the way that you can get people's contact information, their name, their email address, etc., onto a list that then you can use to contact them again later, send them emails, all of that kind of thing. So how we're going to get started with that first is we'll create the form itself. So in my Kartra account, I'm going to go to contacts and then forms. To create a new one, we'll click plus form here and name it. This is going to be let's say I'm creating an opt-in form for my homepage. So we'll call this home opt-in. And I'm going to do it in an embedded style. It'll just be on the page so people can see it right away when they come to the page. And then I can choose a style. Um, Now, these are all preset templates here, but you can also modify them or even start completely from scratch, really. So if you like one of these designs, you can pick it, but just know that you can add, you can change the images, change the colors, anything else like that. One other thing you can do here is click through different device views to see like how each type of form would display in a different device. That can be helpful. I'm just going to go with kind of a simple one, use this blue style, and then click create. All right, so that has generated the form for me. This pretty much I'm ready. If I wanted to, I could just publish it right now and be ready to use this form. But I'm going to go through the configuration options and just show you what I can update and what kind of customization I can do with this. So each of these tabs are let you customize some aspect of the form settings. So we're going to start with the design and open up the form builder here by clicking customize. And this is where I would, like if I wanted to change the text here, I could do that. So I'm going to change what the headline is. I would probably, obviously I would change this text as well, but I'm going to leave that for right now because I don't have anything directly to put in there. But you would want to put some kind of a brand message in there. And then this aspect here, we can edit the way that these fields appear. So this is the appearance. We can either do this as like an underline style, like you can see in there, or we can switch it to a box format. So it's like a full border. Choose to display icons or not. The icon puts this in here, the little person and the envelope. And then I can change the background color, text color, etc. They look good to me as is, so I'm going to leave those. But if I want to add additional fields, so you can see right now that the default has populated that I'm just going to ask for a name, a first name, and an email. If I wanted to add more fields, I could do that in this window. So by clicking fields in the sidebar. So I'm going to add new fields. One thing you could do here, if you wanted to ask for a last name, for example, you could put that in. The only required field is the email address. And the reason that that is required is because the email address field is how Kartra identifies individual users or individual contacts in your account. So you need to have that field. The rest of them are optional. You can add them or remove them or whatever. The only thing that I want to add here is actually the CAPTCHA, and that's this here. And I specifically want to add that because I want to prevent as much as I can bots from filling out my form. I don't want junk opt-ins. I want real people that I can contact and engage with. So I'm going to put CAPTCHA in my form. I want to make this mandatory. Nobody can submit it without filling that out. So I'll add that, and you can see this is here. One thing I will say about forms is when it comes to opt-ins, one thing that is important to think about is how much work you want to ask somebody to do in order to give you their contact information, right? So in an exchange like this, they're essentially giving you some of their data and giving you permission then to contact them. And that has value. Obviously, this is why, as a business owner, you want that information. So there is always like a bit of a push pull. Like if you want certain information from people, but you have to kind of make it worth their while to give it to you. So one thing that can make it less worth their while is if you ask for too much information. And there's other things you can do as well to like add value to it. If you, for example, promise people a free giveaway or a free gift if they opt in, that's something obviously that where there's an exchange. You give me your information, I give you this thing. Um, that's sometimes referred to as a lead magnet, if you've heard that term. Um, so just be careful when you're adding fields to a form like this. You don't want to overwhelm them. And if you do run a version of a form that has a lot of fields, maybe also try a version of your page that has less fields and see if that affects how many people opt in, how many opt-ins you tend to get. That would be something that we would refer to as like a split test, is testing to see, does this version work better or does this version work better? So that's a bit of an aside, just things to think about for the future. But for now, I'm going to keep it simple. I just want the person's first name, their email address, and I'm going to give them a bot challenge basically to make sure that they are a real person. So that's it for fields. And then under settings, I can do some additional customization just of the form to say whether I want it to be responsive or fixed. Responsive means that the size shrinks or expands depending on the size of the page or the size of the person's browser window. In general, responsive is a good way to go for, especially if you expect traffic to your pages from a lot of different device types, from phones, from all that stuff. It's usually that's a good choice for web browsing in general. We can choose to add a border or not, and that border goes around this outside area here. And then that's it. So this is the form that I'm going to have. I could also customize this button too if I wanted to. So I can change the button text, color, etc. But I'm going to save there. We'll go save and exit from the form builder. So moving on from there, we're just going to look at general settings here. And we'll go through these one by one. So this first single or double opt-in, what this is gives you basically the option to say, I want people to double confirm that they want to be on my list, or I'm just going to let them immediately opt in and go on my list. So how that would look from a customer standpoint is if they come to your website, they fill out your opt-in form, and then that's it. That's all they have to do. They're immediately in your account. You can immediately send them mail. That is called a single opt-in. The only decision that they have to make is that initial form fill out. A double opt-in is where if they fill out your form and then they get an email that says, please confirm your opt-in or something to that effect, and then they have to click the link in the email that they got in order to confirm, yes, I actually did want to be on your list, and then they go on your list. Now, at that point, once they've clicked the email, then they're confirmed in your account. Then you can send them mail, etc. And the benefit to doing a double opt-in is that it helps you weed out invalid email addresses. Because obviously, if somebody puts in an invalid email, maybe because they wanted a freebie that you were offering, but they don't actually want to be on your list, if they do that, they're never going to receive the confirmation email, and so they won't be able to complete the double opt-in. So it can help you weed out people who maybe aren't really that interested in engaging with you. And it can also help weed out some bot opt-ins as well if it's just kind of randomly generated email addresses. So that's another thing up to you. You can use single or double. In my case, I'm more concerned about bot traffic. And so because I put that CAPTCHA field in my form, I'm going to change this to single opt-in. Makes it a little bit easier for my actual leads. But still, I've got some protection in place for bots. So from there, this does the form automatically creates this preview for me. It's just a simple thank you. And when people would see this is after they fill out the form, they go to the thank you page. So they're on your website, they fill out the form, and it automatically redirects them here. Now, obviously, most people are going to want to do like a custom confirmation page, and so you can use that option. I don't have a page developed for this yet, so I will leave that on the default for now, but I can come back later and change this to custom if I want to later. So we'll save that. And then finally, you can choose to send a welcome message or not. Again, this is up to you if you want to, if there's, you're having people opt in for a very specific reason, if they're joining like just off the top of my head, like a wait list for an event. Let's say you're planning an event, you're going to have them sign up for more information. You might want to send them a welcome message saying, hey, thanks for joining the list. We're going to send you more information as it comes, that kind of thing. But this is completely optional. You can choose to do it or not. If you do choose send a welcome email, then you've got all of the customization options that you can use. You can put in your name, the name that you want the email to come from, the email and reply to that you want the email to come from, and then you'll be able to customize the message as well in here. So it just gives you kind of a boilerplate template, but you would want to adjust that too. So we'll go save and exit on that. Let's see. So then going to automations. So this is an important thing, I think. When you've got people coming in through an opt-in form, one of the normal key things that you want to do with those people is have them on a mailing list, right? So you're going to add them to a list, or you might want to tag them in some way. Tag is kind of like a contact label in Kartra. So in my case, I'm going to add anybody who comes in on this homepage opt-in form, I'm going to add them to this master list. And the way I've got my lists organized in my account, you can see that I have a few more in there. I have a master list where every single person that opts in or buys a product from me, they all go on my master list. But then I also have these additional smaller lists where if people that are already on my master list, if they also attended my summit, then they're going to go on another list as well. So now they're on 2 lists. So this is a way that I can kind of segment the contacts in my account depending on what they've done, or maybe which forms they put their information through, or what products they bought, all of that kind of stuff. So for this one, we're going people coming in through this form, we're going to go on that list. You can also add them to sequences if you've got automated kind of like a series of emails that you want to go out. You can add them to that. That's a topic for another video, is going to sequences, but you would set that up under marketing. And you can add additional, more advanced automation rules as well if you want to. But again, it's optional. It really depends on what your processes are, what kind of strategy you're using to approach all this. So that's pretty much everything. We've got our form design set up. We have our choice of opt-in flow. We're gonna do a single opt-in, send them a welcome email when they come in, add them to a list when they come in. So now we can publish this form, make it live, okay? And the next thing that we need to do is figure out, okay, how do we use this form? So let me show you that. There are a couple ways that you can do this. If you have a website that is outside of Kartra, hosted on WordPress, hosted in Squarespace, anywhere that you have your website, if it's like a completely custom site, you can use these code snippets. So you can do a JavaScript, kind of a small snip, or a full HTML if you want to do like full customization, like of all the styles. It's a bit more of an advanced option. Here it says recommends that you really only use this if you have a web designer. JavaScript is going to be the easiest for most people. But what you would do then, so again, this is for an external website, is you would copy this code, go into your website, and open, if you're using like what you see is what you get editor like WordPress, you would put a code component or a code element into your page and then paste this code into it. And that will embed the form that you just created in Kartra into your other page, so that when you publish that page, people can opt in through that form and Kartra will capture their information. Because it's a Kartra asset, anybody opting in is going to come into your Kartra account. Now, an even simpler way to do this, though, is we're going to create a Kartra page for this. So coming here to pages and all pages, we're going to create a plus new page. And I'm going to do home with opt-in. This is a new. I'm just going to show you how to do this. I don't need any category or site in particular right now, so we'll just leave those blank. And I am going to search for a page template that already has a form placeholder in it. So that would typically be what's called a squeeze page. It's where people come in and their information. The intent of the page is to capture their information. So let's choose this one just to show you how that works. So I choose my template. You can browse through here. There's lots to look at. We'll create the page to launch the page builder. And then you can see that in here, there's this object here that is a form, but it says placeholder across the front of it. And what you want to do is click this. You're going to click the editing button to edit style. And then from this drop down, you will choose the form that you created for this page, which in this case is home opt-in. So now I apply this and it adds the form that I just created. So that is how you link a form that you create in your account into a Kartra page. And you might notice that like the headline and things that I customized in there are not shown in here. And that's because if you are placing the form in a Kartra page, there's actually a lot more customization options you can do in the page builder. And so you would just kind of finish up the styling the way that you would want it in here. So in this case, this page is kind of designed to say, hey, we're gonna give you, this is like a giveaway, I guess. So have people opt in, and the hook or the draw for asking them to opt in is that they're entering to win a free copy of your book. So that's one type of option that you could use to try to get new signups. So my form is in here. That is confirmed. Now I can go ahead and publish my page. Normally I would obviously need to kind of go through here, update all of this. This image you could edit to add an image of your actual book. And you would just click this edit button, select, I don't think I have anything in here that is really suitable. We'll use this just to show you this picture. So if you add a new image here, it would look like that. So you would just, whatever kind of image assets that you have for your brand or for your product, you can add them, upload them into your account. And then we're going to publish this page, publish live. And now here is where we start actually getting some traction with this page. So we go to get the page link, and this is the link, the direct link. It's live on the internet to my opt-in page. And I can, if I have a custom domain set up, I can customize it here. If you have a custom domain connected to your account, you can select it from that dropdown. But we can also customize this slug, the second part of the URL too, make it a little bit more customized. So now I have a link that I can share and ask people, basically start sending people to my website to look and see what I'm offering. Do they want to opt in? Are they interested in hearing from me? Are they interested in what I'm offering? And then they can put their information in the form. So how that looks, we'll go here. We're going to look at our page live. Here it is, exactly like we saw in the page builder. Got our cookie disclaimer here. And I'm going to show you how this works. So we'll do test opt-in. We need to type the code to make sure that we are not, confirm that we are not a bot. See if I can even read this. Accept these terms. All right, great. So we went to the thank you page. So we know that that was successful. So now if I close all of this, I exit the page builder. Here's where I'm going to see where my contacts went. Okay. If I go to contacts and go to all contacts, here is my new lead. You can see this is where they came from. Opt-in form on this page through that form. And if we open up this lead here, we can see some information about this new person that has joined the list. Under the lists tab, we can see the list that they're subscribed to. So this is a communications list. And then if you can see similar information, we won't see all of it here because there's not, oh, here's the welcome email that they received for joining that list or for opting in through that form. And if we had added them to a sequence, that information would display here, or if any other kind of behavior that the person does with other things in your account, those details will all show up under these tabs. But then you also have, and this I feel like is kind of a superpower in the system, is that you can see the person's complete activity log, where it shows you every single thing that they did. They came here, they went to the page with our opt-in form. That was the one that we just created. They visited my form. They accepted my terms and filled out my form. You can see that here. And then they were automatically subscribed to this list, and we automatically sent them that email. So now this person is not only in my account, but I can also see exactly how they're interacting with my assets. Are they visiting checkouts? Are they buying a product? Are they, clicking on emails that I send them? All of that kind of stuff. So that's how, in a as quickly as a way, hopefully that was a quick enough overview of how you create a form in Kartra and then kind of what you do with it and how you see the results from it. Finally, just speaking of results, we can also go back to the forms area and look at analytics in general to see, here's the form we were looking at. We've had one visitor, me, one subscription, and then when that happened and so on. And so you've got that kind of high level overview so you can see over time how each of your forms are performing, how well they convert, how many people that see the form actually fill it out. That's how we calculate conversion, is if someone's looking at it and then they go ahead and take the action that you want them to take. They're filling out the form, submitting their information. That's considered a conversion on that form. All right, so hopefully that was helpful. I will be with you next time.